Folks, today we're going to do a continuation of a review I started a couple months ago on the Guardian North American Arms 32 ACP. Gun is not much fun to shoot because it doesn't have very good sights and it's so small it's very hard to get a good purchase on it. You can also see the trigger itself is quite big and requires a lot of power to move it back. It's about a 12-pound trigger pull. What I have here is an IDPA target, and I'm going to shoot kind of at realistic combat distances with this type of gun, which would be 3 meters, and then I'll move back to 5 and 7 and we'll take a look at accuracy. I'm going to be shooting some fairly standard rounds out of this gun, and standard in terms of ball ammo, 72 grain jacketed, ammunition. Just as a comparison, on the left here is a 32, and in this case it is a hollow point silver tip. So this is the Winchester 32 caliber hollow point. Next to it is a full-size 9mm. So you're getting some sense, and I'll take a picture of this and post it on the video as well, but much smaller round. Also, the round really doesn't have much chance to gain much velocity. It's a fairly anemic round, but I think that if this was all you had and you were forced to use it in a defensive situation, something would be better than nothing. So again, I'm going to shoot this. We'll take a look at it from a couple of different angles and then just give you impressions of what I think. So first distance is 3 meters, and again, each time I'm going to turn around to give you a perspective from the camera looking at the target, and we'll see what that looks like. Now, perfect example of one of the challenges. So I got a type 1 malfunction. What happened is that I was pressing on the side. You can see the magazine release right here. I actually depressed that enough that I induced a malfunction, and I did not get a complete feeding because the magazine itself had slid out. So something to be aware of, and I'll really try to keep my finger off that, my thumb off that, so it doesn't happen. Another issue, stovepipe. And again, magazine slid out at the end there. So there we have our hits. Again, I'm only 3 yards away, basically point shooting. But you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Accurate enough, I suppose, but again, we had a couple of malfunctions, which is really troubling if you were going to use this gun for self-defense. I'm going to load up some different ammunition, basically do a similar drill. This time I'm going to aim at the head, and we'll see what that looks like. I actually swapped the magazine out, and now I've got the magazine that does not have the floor plate that allows a little bit more purchase for the hand. So you can see here, there's not much to hold on to with this gun. The other thing you have to be aware of is how high you place your hand so you don't get the slide reciprocating back across the top of the hand. Very important. I've taken chunks of flesh out of my hand when I was not paying attention. So I'm shooting from the same distance, and we're going to see, again, I'm 3 yards, I'm aiming at the head, slow deliberate fire. This is the Winchester silver tip hollow point. Okay, that time, no malfunctions, no issues whatsoever. Seems to like that ammunition. And you can see all of our hits now are right where we want them, basically in the head. Now, I was not going super fast, fairly deliberate. I'm going to now step back to, I'll tape up the target, we'll step back to 5 yards. Okay, now I'm at 5, and again, I'm going to try to shoot reasonably fast, but not so fast that I'm not getting center mass hits. One of the challenges with this gun is the very rudimentary sights. I mean, you really cannot see them. They're so small you can barely fit a fingernail in between there. So again, this gun is really a point shooting type of firearm. And I'm trying hard to see the front sights, but I really can't see them. So let's take a quick look. So I fired 7 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see the bulk of them are sort of going to the right. And again, I'm more or less point shooting because I cannot see that front sight hardly at all. I'm going to step back to 7 now. I'm going to aim at the head, and again, I'm going to be very, very deliberate. I'm going to slow down a little bit and try to drive some more precise shots at our head area right up here. I'm now at 7, so 7 yards. I'm going to try to get headshots from 7, going slow and deliberately with this heavy double action trigger. I've got 5 rounds loaded. We'll see if we can actually get some good hits. Okay, again, they look like they're going a bit to the right. Let's take a look at our target. So from 7 yards, deliberate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, I was aiming right here, you know, right point of aim, right dead center, sort of at the 0. Everything's sliding off a little bit. Some of that has to do with just the fact that you've got such a darn small firearm. And just as you put this up against the size of this IDPA head here, you can see how, in fact, how small it is. Now, I have small hands, and even with the small hands, it's really hard to get a decent grip on this. So I'm going to go ahead and tape up our target once again, and now I'm going to go as fast as I can and try to get just hits on paper, just sort of as combat style shooting, and I'm going to actually draw the gun from my pocket and then back up. So now I'm going to basically present the weapon, and as I do, start backing up away from the target, similar to what I think most people would do in a flight fear response where you had a deadly threat coming at you. If you could leave the area or back up or create some distance, I think that's what you do. So, gun is in my vest, fingers off the trigger. I have a firing grip on the gun, but really that's where I'm at. So, again, keeping it away from my body, not pointing it at my body so I don't sweep myself. So, right up here against the target. Now, 7 hits, or 7 shots, so we had the gun loaded at full capacity, 6 in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. So, I was not, you know, moving away super fast, but I was backing up and trying to do. I was essentially point shooting. So I have 1 here, right on the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 right here on the line. So again, center mass shots, point shooting, moving away. It is, effective at the distance that generally it would be used for, but out beyond 7 yards maximum, it's pretty hard to get hits that I would consider acceptable with such a small caliber round. So we've got some steel down range here, and what I'm going to do is just one-handed, so you can get some sense of how the recoil of this gun and shooting it one-handed. I'll try to get the video in such a way that you can see me shoot this one-handed. So I've got, again, we're probably maybe 10 yards away. So, got hits on all of our steel there, going very slow, one-handed. So the gun is plenty controllable. Again, it's only a 32. It is not a, 357 or anything like that. But you can see we got all acceptable hits from approximately 10 yards. So I guess the bottom line about the North American Arms Guardian and 32 ACP, for me, I would not trust my life to this gun. There are too many issues from the fact that I don't have 100% reliability, and I've never fired this gun ever, and I fired it a fair amount. A few hundred rounds for sure, probably close to 700 rounds. But I've never had a practice session where I haven't had some kind of malfunction, either a stovepipe, a magazine issue, the magazine coming out. And the sights are so rudimentary. I understand it's a point shooting gun, but it's very, very difficult to, want to place yourself in a situation where, you, for a horrible reason, you had to go to guns, you couldn't get away, and you were using this gun, because I'm not sure that, for me, it would be 100% reliable. Nothing against North American Arms. I think they make very good products, certainly shot some of their other guns. This particular one is not one I'd be able to bet my life on. So, again, one of the things that we talked about, sights aren't really there. Extremely long double action trigger pull that is very, very heavy. Again, from a safety issue, I get that, but it really requires a lot of work. Such a small grip, very hard to get a complete. So they hold on, so ergonomics are bad, especially for someone who has good sized hands. Mine are small. And even with small hands, they have a hard time getting any kind of purchase. I can't imagine if you had big, ham hock, meaty hands, that you'd be able to get a good firing grip on this gun. So anyway, that's it. North American Arms, 32 ACP, the Guardian. My thoughts. Certainly appreciate you watching, and as always, stay safe.